Hello, and a very warm welcome. Before we begin tonight's sleep story, I want to share something important with you. This channel was created to bring you bedtime stories that not only relax the mind, but also nourish the soul with wisdom and lead and inspiration. Here, each story is inspired by great masters of personal development and spirituality, so that you can drift into sleep peacefully and wake up with a renewed mind. In today's video, you will hear a special story inspired by the odd teachings of Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, one of the most influential books ever written about prosperity, mindset, and success.
Through
As you listen,
stories,
you'll notice how Hill's ideas can unfold into a gentle narrative designed to calm your mind, while planting seeds of abundance in your subconscious. And before you close your eyes and
I'll share a
surrender
story with
to
you.
this journey, I want to ask you something quick,
So lie down there,
but very important.
snuggle up,
If
relax.
you enjoy the idea of falling asleep, two stories that blend deep relaxation with timeless wisdom, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you help me continue creating content made especially for your moments of rest and transformation. Are you ready? Then find a comfortable position, take a deep breath, and allow my voice to guide you on this journey into serenity and abundance. Now, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a quiet path. The night sky above you is filled with soft stars, shining gently. A calm breeze brushes against your face, carrying away the last remnants of tension. You begin to walk slowly down this path. Each step feels effortless, light, almost as if the earth itself is guiding you forward. In the distance, you see a soft golden light, glowing, steady, and welcoming. As you approach, you realize it is an ancient library, glowing with wisdom, waiting just for you. You step inside, and the air feels warm, peaceful. Rows of books line the walls, each one filled with knowledge and secrets of abundance. One book in particular seems to call to you, its cover shining with a golden glow. You reach out, gently open it, and as the pages reveal themselves, you read words that echo softly in your mind. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The voice of Napoleon Hill seems to whisper these words to you, and as you read, you feel them sinking deeply into your heart. The idea that abundance is not something far away, but something already alive within you. You close your eyes inside this dream, holding the golden book to your chest, and with every breath, you feel a quiet certainty growing that prosperity, peace, and abundance are already yours, and all you need to do is allow them to unfold. Asterisk, asterisk. The night was calm, painted in silver by the quiet glow of the moon. You found yourself walking along a path lined with tall trees whose branches arched above you, forming a natural cathedral of shadows and light. The air was cool, carrying with it the faint scent of earth and blossoms just beginning to open in the night air. Far in the distance, a golden shimmer called to you. At first, it was only a faint flicker, like the last star on the horizon. But with every step, it grew stronger, warmer, more magnetic. You felt your heart guiding you toward it, as if this light had been waiting for you your whole life. Finally, you reached it, a vast library, ancient yet timeless, standing proud under the moonlight. Its tall doors were carved with intricate, patterned symbols of keys, trees, and open hands. As you approached, the doors opened on their own, creaking softly, as though welcoming a long-lost friend. Inside, the golden glow embraced you. The walls stretched upward, higher than the eye could see, lined with shelves of endless books, their spines shimmering faintly. Some were bound in leather, some in silk, some in materials that seemed not of this world at all. The silence was profound, but it was not empty, was alive, filled with a presence you could almost hear. And then you saw him. A figure stood at the center of the library. He was neither young nor old, neither stranger nor familiar. His presence was calm, steady, like the flame of a candle that never flickers, no matter how the winds of the world might blow. His eyes met yours with quiet certainty, and in that gaze, you felt as though he already knew your story, your desires, your struggles, your hopes. Every dream begins as a seed, he said softly, his voice echoing through the chamber like music you had always known. And tonight, you will learn how to plant yours. He extended his hand, and in it appeared a small velvet pouch, glowing faintly. He placed it in your palm, and as you opened it, you found a collection of golden seed, steamy, weightless, yet filled with a strange, powerful energy. These are your thoughts, he whispered. Each one carries the potential to grow into reality, but only if you choose them, plant them, and care for them. The moment his words touched you, the library around you began to dissolve, like mist in the morning sun. The shelves faded, the ceiling melted away, and suddenly you stood in the middle of a vast garden under the night sky. The soil at your feet was rich, dark, alive. Above you, stars shimmered, brighter than you had ever seen, as though they were watching, waiting. You looked down at the seeds in your hand, glowing softly in the moonlight. Each one pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. They were alive, waiting for you to choose. Go on, the figure said, his voice now distant yet near, like it came from everywhere at once. Plant them. For every seed you plant with faith, with care, with persistence, the universe will answer. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. You knelt down in the soil. It was warm against your skin, welcoming, as though it knew you, as though it had been waiting for you, as much as the light had. You pressed the first seed into the earth, covering it gently, and as you did, you felt a pulse of energy move through your body, a quiet promise, a whisper of abundance. And then, something extraordinary happened as you pressed the seed into the soil. Visions began to bloom in your mind. You saw yourself standing tall, filled with confidence and joy, living the life you had always dreamed of. You saw opportunities opening, doors unlocked, moments of clarity and success unfolding before you. Each seed carried not just an image, but a feeling deep, real, undeniable. Your heart swelled with gratitude. For the first time, you truly understood. Abundance was not far away. It was not something to chase, but something already alive within you, waiting to be planted, nurtured, and allowed to grow. The soil beneath your fingers was alive. It wasn't just dirt pulsed with warmth, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. As you planted the first seed, the garden stirred. You heard it in the wind, in the whisper of the leaves, in the quiet hum of the stars above. You looked around. What was once only a patch of dark soil now stretched into endless rows, ready to Receive your seeds. The air shimmered faintly, as though unseen hands had prepared this place for you long ago. This was not just a garden. This was your mind. The golden figure's voice lingered in the air. Though he was no longer beside you, every seed you plant here is a thought. And every thought, if nourished with belief, will grow into your reality. Plant carefully, for the garden always responds. You opened your hand, staring at the seeds that glowed softly against your skin. They pulsed, as though waiting for your decision. You chose another, pressed it gently into the soil, and again the earth responded. This time, a small sprout appeared instantly, fragile but alive, reaching toward the sky. You gasped softly, watching as it shimmered with light. And with that sprout came another vision, a door opening before you, revealing paths you had never considered. The seed had already begun to shape possibility. You planted another. This one grew into a delicate flower, its petals unfolding slowly, releasing a fragrance that filled the garden with sweetness. With it came a memory not of the past, but of a future where your work, your purpose, touched the lives of others, bringing joy and inspiration. You understood now. Each seed carried not only a desire, but also the echo of its fulfillment. Slowly, you continued. Each seed brought a vision. One showed you standing confidently before challenges, your fears dissolving like shadows at dawn. Another showed abundance flowing freely to you, not as a chase, but as a natural rhythm, as though prosperity was the air you breathed. Another showed peace, deep peace, the kind that allowed you to rest without worry, knowing that life always provided. The garden responded to everything you planted. And as you worked, you realized something else. Some seeds seemed heavier than others. Some pulsed with light, eager to grow, while others flickered weakly, almost fragile. You paused, uncertain. The figure's voice returned, calm and steady. Not every thought is meant to be planted. Choose with care, for only those held with true belief will flourish. You looked again at the seeds. One of them carried doubt, flickered, dim, hesitant. Another carried fear, heavy and cold. You realized they, too, were thoughts, but not the ones you wished to grow. So, instead of planting them, you closed your hand and let the wind take them. They dissolved into the night sky, vanishing among the stars. The remaining seeds glowed brighter, lighter, as though relieved for the first time. You felt the truth settle deep into your heart. Your life is not shaped by every thought you have. It is shaped by the thoughts you choose to believe, nurture, and allow to grow. The garden stretched farther now. The sprouts had grown taller, their leaves glowing softly, forming pathways of light. You walked among them, feeling a peace you had never known. Each plant hummed with quiet energy, as though whispering, "You are capable. You are worthy. You are abundant." At the center of the garden, you saw a tree unlike any other. It was small now, only a sapling, but its roots were deep, glowing faintly in the soil. You knew this was the seed you had planted, first the seed of your truest desire. You touched its bark, and as you did, a surge of warmth filled your body. You closed your eyes, and a vivid image flooded your mind. A version of you, radiant and fulfilled, living a life of abundance, love, and purpose. It felt so real, that your heart believed it instantly. When you opened your eyes again, the sapling glowed brighter. It was growing not slowly, not hesitantly, but powerfully, nourished by your faith. The voice returned one last time, soft, steady, unshakable. Remember, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Care for this garden daily, and it will become the reflection of your destiny. You stood in the middle of the garden, surrounded by glowing sprouts and flowers, the sapling rising higher with each heartbeat. Above you, the stars seemed closer now, as though they too were leaning down to watch. The garden had become your sanctuary, and within its soil, abundance had already begun to bloom. The garden was alive, glowing softly under the embrace of the stars. The air was filled with fragrance, the hum of growth, the quiet promise of abundance. Yet, as you walked deeper, you noticed a path leading away from the glowing plants, a narrow trail. Darker, almost hidden. Something within urged you to follow it. You stepped forward, and the light of the garden faded slowly behind you. The air grew heavier, cooler. The soil beneath your feet felt less welcoming. The night here was different, thicker, almost pressing. Soon, you saw them, shadows among the trees. They weren't solid, but they moved with intent, circling, whispering. At first, you couldn't make out their voices. Then, slowly, the words came clear. You are not ready. You don't deserve this. What if you fail? What if it was all an illusion? You stopped. The voices wrapped around you, heavy and familiar. They were not strangers. They were echoes of your own doubts, the fears that lived quietly in the back of your mind. Here, in the trials of the path, they had taken form. The shadows grew taller. Their whispers became louder. Some of them even tried to block your way, their shapes bending like smoke, yet carrying weight. For a moment, your hand trembled. What if they were right? Then you remembered the golden figure's words. Not every thought is meant to be planted. You closed your eyes. You placed your hand over your heart, and you remembered the garden, the warmth of the soil, the glow of the sapling, the certainty you felt when you touched it. That truth was stronger than these shadows. When you opened your eyes, you spoke, your voice steady. You are not real. You are only fear, and fear has no power here. At once, the shadows hissed and recoiled, as though your words were fire. Some dissolved instantly, others lingered, trying to take shape again. But the more you spoke, the weaker they became. I am worthy. I am capable. I am abundant. The whispers changed. No longer heavy, they became faint, almost pitiful. Finally, they melted back into the trees, disappearing into the night. The path brightened. A faint golden glow now lined the trail, guiding you forward. With every step, you felt stronger, not because the shadows were gone, but because you had faced them and endured. The air grew lighter. The soil became warm again. And at last, you reached a clearing. In the center of it stood a fountain, carved from white stone, glowing with liquid light. You approached, and as you gazed into the water, you saw not your reflection, but a vision. You saw yourself working patiently, day after day, returning to the garden, tending to the seeds. Even when storms came, even when growth seemed invisible, You persisted, and in time, the garden flourished, not because it was easy, but because you never stopped believing. The voice of the guide returned, calm as always. This is the secret many forget. The seeds of abundance do not grow in a single night. They require persistence, faith, a willingness to keep going, even when nothing seems to change. Those who quit too soon never see the harvest, but those who endure, they inherit the abundance. That was always theirs. The fountain shimmered brighter, and you felt its truth pour into you. You reached down, touched the glowing water, and let it run over your fingers. The cool light sank into your skin, filling you with quiet strength. You stood taller now. You no longer feared the shadows. You no longer doubted the soil. The path had tested you, and you had discovered persistence within yourself. When you turned back, you saw the golden garden in the distance once more, waiting for you. The sapling, your greatest desire, was taller now, as though it had grown in response to your courage. You walked toward it, the glow of the fountain still in your hands, ready to nurture your dreams through faith, belief, and unshakable persistence. Path carried you back to the heart of the garden. The air here was alive, warmer, brighter, almost humming with energy. The plants you had sown earlier glowed more vividly now, their leaves taller, their flowers open, their fragrance rich and sweet. The garden had changed since you last walked it. It had grown. At the center stood the sapling, the first seed you had planted. But it was no longer a fragile shoot. It had grown into a young tree, its trunk strong, its branches reaching high toward the starlit sky. Golden veins pulsed within its bark, like streams of light flowing through its body. You stepped closer. The tree's energy reached out to you, wrapping you in a presence both powerful and gentle. As your hand touched its trunk, a vision overwhelmed. Right, vivid, undeniable. You saw yourself in a life you had always dreamed of. Opportunities flowing with ease. Doors opening before you. Abundance arriving, not as a struggle, but as a natural rhythm. You saw relationships filled with harmony, work filled with meaning, days filled with joy and gratitude, and more than just seeing it, you felt it. The emotions surged through you, the peace, the excitement, the gratitude of living that reality. It was so real that your body could not tell the difference between vision and life. The golden figure's voice returned, a whisper carried by the wind. This is the secret, to live as though the dream is already real, to feel the joy, the gratitude, the abundance now, before the tree bears its fruit. For the feeling is the watering, the feeling is the sunlight, the feeling is the very force that brings the dream into reality. You closed your eyes, holding on to the feeling, and as you did, you felt the tree respond. Its branches stretched higher, its leaves multiplied, its glow deepened. The tree was alive with your belief, your faith, your gratitude. When you opened your eyes again, you saw fruit beginning to form on its branches. Not ordinary fruit, these were orbs of golden light, each one humming with energy. You reached up and touched one. The moment your fingers brushed against it, another vision unfolded. You saw yourself standing years from now, looking back on your life, marveling at how everything had changed. You saw the faces of people you had helped, the successes you had created, the abundance you had lived. And in that moment, you realized the fruit was already yours. The future had already been planted in the present. The tree pulsed brighter, its roots dug deeper into the soil, anchoring themselves not just in earth, but in eternity. This was not just your desire anymore, was your destiny. You sank to your knees before the tree, overwhelmed with gratitude. Tears filled your eyes, not of sorrow, but of release, of joy. Every moment of doubt, every shadow you had faced, every trial you had endured, they had all been steps leading here. The voice of the guide spoke again, steady and eternal. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your persistence is the care. Your feelings are the sunlight, and your faith is the water. With these, nothing is impossible. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The words echoed through the garden, through your body, through your very soul. The branches swayed as though in agreement, scattering golden leaves that floated gently through the air. Some landed on your skin, dissolving into light, filling you with warmth. You sat beneath the tree, resting your back against its strong trunk. The ground was soft, the air alive, the night sky above filled with infinite stars. You closed your eyes, feeling the tree's energy flow through you, grounding you, strengthening you, reminding you that abundance was already here. And in that peace, you knew the tree of destiny would always grow as long as you chose to believe, and its fruit would always be yours, not someday, but now, here, within you. The garden stretched endlessly around you. Bathed in golden light, the tree of destiny rose tall at the center, its branches heavy with radiant fruit, glowing softly under the starlit sky. You leaned against its trunk, feeling its strength as your own, and for the first time, you understood what it meant to truly rest in abundance. A gentle breeze moved through the leaves, carrying with it the fragrance of blossoms and the promise of harvest. Each golden fruit shimmered as though filled with the light of 1,000 suns, yet their glow was calm, comforting, never harsh. You reached for another, and as your hand touched it, the fruit dissolved into pure light, flowing into your chest. Warmth spread through you, filling your body, your heart, your mind. And with it came a vision, not of the future this time, but of eternity. You saw an endless cycle, seeds being planted, roots reaching deep, branches rising high, fruit ripening, falling, and planting new seeds again. The voice of the guide returned, softer now, as though woven into the very wind. Abundance is not a single moment. It is a rhythm, a cycle, eternal and unending. You are not separate from it. You are part of its flow. Every dream you plant, every belief you nurture, every vision you hold with faith becomes part of this eternal harvest. You looked around, and the garden shimmered. It was no longer just your own. You saw countless other gardens stretching beyond, each one glowing, each one filled with seeds planted by dreamers like you. Some were just sprouting, some were thriving, some were in full bloom. All of them were connected, their roots intertwined beneath the earth, forming a great web of abundance across existence. The realization washed over you like a wave. Your abundance was never just for you. Every seed you plant, every fruit you harvest, every vision you bring into reality contributes to the whole. Your light nourishes others just as theirs nourishes you. You closed your eyes, and let this truth sink deep. The fruit of your tree was not only for you to taste, it was for you to share. And in sharing, the tree grew stronger, taller, brighter. For abundance multiplies when it flows. The tree's roots pulsed beneath you. You leaned back, feeling them carry you deeper into the earth. You were no longer just resting under the tree. You were a part of it. Your breath was its breath. Heartbeat was its rhythm. Above, the stars glowed brighter, and one by one they seemed to descend, joining the branches of the tree of destiny. Soon, the entire canopy shimmered with starlight, each star a reminder of a dream once planted. Now eternal, the golden voice spoke again, distant yet near. Rest now. The harvest is already yours. You have planted the seeds. You have faced the shadows. You have nurtured the roots. The tree stands eternal. There is nothing more you need to do tonight. Simply rest and allow the harvest to unfold. The ground beneath you softened into a cradle of moss. The air was warm, wrapping you in peace. Your eyelids grew heavier, your body melting deeper into the earth. The sounds of the garden became lullabies, the rustle of the leaves, Kema, the roots, Kema, the distant whisper of the stars. Each breath carried you deeper, each heartbeat slower, each moment softer. The fruit above shimmered one last time, then slowly dimmed into a gentle glow, enough to comfort, never to disturb. The tree of destiny remained tall, guarding you as you drifted. The last words of the guide drifted through your mind, barely louder than a sigh. Abundance is eternal. You are eternal. Rest now and let the garden grow within your dreams, and as your body surrendered. As your thoughts faded into stillness, you knew the harvest would continue, unending, even as you slept. Time in the garden no longer felt the same. Moments blended into one another, soft and unhurried, as though the night itself wished to hold you here. The tree of destiny stood tall behind you, its golden glow steady and protective, while the stars above shimmered like watchful companions as you walked further along a winding path. You heard it a gentle sound, faint at first, then growing clearer, the sound of water flowing endlessly, calm and steady. You followed the sound until the trees parted, revealing a river bathed in silver light. The river was unlike any you had ever seen. Its surface was smooth as glass, reflecting the night sky so perfectly that it felt as though the heavens had doubled themselves. The water glowed faintly, not blue, not gold, but a soft light that seemed to hold all colors within it. You stepped closer, and with each step, the sound of the river seemed to echo inside you. It was not just water flowing, it was thought. It was peace. It was eternity itself, moving in rhythm. The golden voice spoke again. Softer than ever, the mind, when still, becomes the river. The river carries every dream to the ocean of reality. You need not force it. You need not push it tonally. Allow it to flow. You knelt at the edge of the river, dipping your hand into its cool surface. The water embraced you, flowing gently over your skin, leaving behind not wetness, but warmth, as though it carried light itself. And as you touched it, your thoughts began to slow. Every worry, every question, Every restless thought dissolved into the current. They floated away downstream, fading into the horizon. The river asked for nothing. It only carried. It only moved. And in its movement, you felt yourself letting go. You lay back on the moss at the river's edge, staring up at the stars reflected in its waters. Your breath fell into rhythm with the current, slow, steady, effortless. Each inhale matched the pull of the river. Each exhale matched its release. In this stillness, you felt a truth beyond words, that life, like the river, was never something to be controlled, that abundance flowed naturally, as water flows, as breath flows, that your only task was to trust the current, to surrender to its guidance. Your eyelids grew heavier. The sound of the river filled your ears like a lullaby. Its rhythm was endless, eternal, soothing. You no longer knew if you were watching the stars in the sky or their reflection in the water. Both felt the same, both infinite, both guiding you deeper into peace. The golden voice lingered one last time. Let the river carry you. Let it hold you. Let it bring you into the stillness where dreams take root. You closed your eyes, and the river continued to flow not around you, but through you. It carried away the last fragments of tension, the final pieces of resistance. What remained was only peace, only rest, only the gentle current of eternity. And as you drifted into this river of stillness, your body melted deeper, your mind surrendered fully, and sleep began to open its arms around you. Asterisk. The river flows, steady, calm, eternal. The garden glows softly in the distance. The tree of destiny stands tall, guarding you as you rest. You are safe. You are at peace. You are surrounded by abundance. With every breath, you sink deeper into stillness. With every heartbeat, you drift further into rest. There is nothing you need to do now, nothing to solve, nothing to chase. Everything has already been planted. Everything is already growing. Your body feels heavier, softer, more relaxed with every moment. Your thoughts drift like leaves on the river, carried gently downstream. No effort, no resistance, only flow, only rest, only peace. The stars above shimmer, watching over you. The golden garden hums quietly, alive with promise. The fruit of the tree glows faintly, waiting for the right moment to be shared. You are not separate from it. You are part of it. You are abundance itself. And now, it is time to sleep, to let go completely, to rest deeply. Allow your breath to carry you, softer, slower, deeper. Allow the earth to hold you, gently, firmly, safely. Allow your dreams to open, quietly, lovingly, endlessly. There is no end to this journey. The seeds will continue to grow. The harvest will continue to unfold. Even as you sleep, your abundance expands. Rest now. Drift now. Sleep now. The garden is with you. The river carries you. The stars protect you. The tree of destiny stands eternal. You are safe. You are abundant. You are free. Sleep, sleep, sleep. If you're still awake, stay here with us. Open our special playlist now and keep listening to more sleep stories for mental reprogramming and prosperity. Listen to one, then another, until sleep gently arrives and carries you into the night. And if, by any chance, your eyes are still open, leave a comment with the words, "I'm awake, so." I'll know you stayed with me until the very end. I'd also love to know, what did you think of this story? Share your thoughts and let's talk in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, may your dreams be filled with light, abundance, and peace. Good night and sweet dreams.